Who will have a fishy on a little dishy? Who will have a fishy when the boat comes in? That's you, that is, because today's video is on a selection of fishing-themed games. We're going to start with Pearl Diver, then we're going to look at Save the Whale, then Fishing Trip, and finally Squash the Squid. Let's dive right in. Our first game for today is from the Virgin computer books of Adventures for Your ZX Spectrum. It is Pearl Diver. In this adventure, I assume the role of a humble fisherman who, after hearing some talk about pearls in the South Cove, has rushed out his boat and is now looking for treasure. I need to collect 5 oysters to become rich, but the sea is full of dangers, from piranhas to seaweed. I must collect each oyster separately and swim back up to my boat. The oysters are a phenomenal size and can only be carried one at a time. Our oxygen strength at the beginning of the adventure is 90, and this goes down as you swim around and get caught in hazards. However, you may be lucky enough to pick up an unused air tank that is lying on the seabed. So I've got my snorkel, I've got the bar from my wife, it's a bit small for my head, I've got my little oyster knife for opening the oysters, so let's jump in and see if we can find some treasure. Pearl Diver. Look at this beautiful, beautiful screen. Concentric circles growing up nicely. A little bit of music. Set the tone. There was a much longer pause here, but I took it out because it was silly. But that's rather nice. I'm in the shallows, I can see nothing, my strength is 90. Directions north, south, east, west. The code offered you the option of doing up and down, but then said it wasn't a direction. Octopus fighting you. Fighting works, it generates 2 random numbers. If random numbers above 67, the creature hurts you. Then it throws it again. If it's below 0.33, then you hurt the creature. The creature does 1 point of damage to you every time. You do 1 to 4 points of damage. So once you're in a fight, you just keep on hitting and hitting and hitting. Creatures have different strengths, and eventually one of you dies. Nice change of colour, pink and cyan border. So off we go again. In the shallows. And there are piranhas. You can swim away or fight. Swimming away is not a good option. You have a 50% chance of dying immediately. So it's not even worth trying. So here piranhas are quite weak. But over time they will wear you down. There's no tactics involved in the fighting. You just sit there and watch it. Let's keep exploring. And there's a giant squid. It's interesting. It's a maze with north, south, east, west, but you're under the sea and you can't go up or down. Although you are going down because it says so on the top. You go in the shallows, several fathoms down, etc. Strange choice that. Perhaps you're like an action man deep sea diver and you're walking along the bottom of the sea. Perhaps. But then you're not a pearl diver. And I've killed the giant squid. I'm just like Ursula Andress in Dr. No. Let's keep going south in the murky depths. If you find an oxygen cylinder, restore all oyster. You need to collect 5 oysters in order to win. The documentation says the pearls are so big you can only carry 1 at a time. That's not true. You just pick them up and it's fine. It says after you collect them, you must return to your boat to drop them off. You have to return to the boat to win, but you don't need to just take the pearls 1 at a time. Especially as each move you take drains your strength. So that'll be a lot harder. So now fighting the giant squid. My strength is dropping. It started out as 90 for the whole game, now to 44. I am hitting the squid though. The joy of scrolling. At least scroll lets you pause and read the screen. I thought of turning it off by a well-placed poke, but then you wouldn't be able to see what's going on. Love that bit of colour, bit of flash. Down to 40 strength points now. We found 3 oysters. It's a nice little game. I think I might change it so you can go up and down. There we are. So the way it works is it's a one-dimensional array, and by going north and south you basically go +8 and -8. It's more memory efficient that way. You could change it so going up and down is 16, perhaps, so you get to the bottom a lot quicker. Oh, I've killed that while I was chatting away. The question is, will I triumph or will I die? So let's keep going. A shoal of fish. Don't worry, they're harmless. That's good to know. It won't tell you if you try and leave the grid, so be careful of that. Here's the piranhas. Piranhas are quite weak, however, they're nearly as strong as me now because my strength is very low. Under the sea, under the sea. I'll kill some piranhas, which I believe are freshwater fish. I should have double checked that for you. No, piranhas are freshwater fish. I've dumped my boat is several fathoms down. And when I played this, I thought, is this right? Have I made a bug in the coding? No, the boat is at position 17, which is several fathoms down. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's a bathysphere. My strength is now very low. And there's piranhas. I will try and fight them. Yeah, this is not going to go well. I fall to a watery grave. My greed for pearls has left me in Davy Jones's locker. Still, nice little tombstone. From the tropics, we're now going into the frozen north with the Spectral Book of Games and Save the Whale. So let's see what that's all about. Here we are. Save the Whale. A moving graphics game for conservationists. The object of the game is to ensure that the whale survives a swim on in Arctic seas. We have to outwit the hunters who are hunting the whale in their kayaks. If they run into the icebergs, they'll have to abandon the hunt, so you've got to lure them into the obstacles. Save the whale. Hunters in kayaks, the red thing, are hunting a whale, the black thing. To save the whale, you must make them wreck their kayaks on the iceberg, the white thing. The hunters, in the red, will vaguely move towards the whale. The whale is moved with the cursor keys 5, 6, 7, 8. This is apparently easy mode. The difficulty just depends on whereabouts the icebergs are placed. So you can see here I'm trying to dodge round. I've got loads of hunters coming in. Hunters on the bottom left are all crashing, which is fine. Hunters on the right are crashing, that's lovely. But hunters from the top are closing in. Oh, he's got through the gap. That's not good. After every move you get a beep to let you know it's your turn. It's not real time, but it's entertaining. So that was easy mode. Let's try again on difficult mode. Nice use of colour. Cyan for the sea. So here the icebergs are spread out much more widely. So if you position yourself just right, you might be okay. So the hunters are coming in, paddling away, because they can move diagonally and you can't, because you're a whale. In they come. In they come. So can I make them crash?
There's a few crashed, but the ones on the left are coming in, and I think I'm stuffed. And I'm harpooned. Let's have one more go, this time on medium difficulty. So the hunters start in the top, in all the four corners, you're in the middle. This looks a bit better. The icebergs are in a nice position, looking a bit like teeth. These are all user-defined graphics. Nice and chunky. We can clearly see what they are, especially with the use of colour. Oh, hunters are drowning, which is great. You've got important to save the whale. So hunters bottom right are all gone, hunters bottom left are all gone. There aren't many left. So if I can dodge behind these eyes, oh, top left are all gone. Now it's just top right. Dodge through. Am I going to be lucky? Yes, I am. I have successfully saved the whale. Nice and simple, good fun. I enjoyed that.
Our third game today is from Stimulating Simulations, 2nd edition by C.W. Engel. This book was first published in 1977. This edition was printed in 79, which predates the Sinclair ZX80. In fishing trip, going on a fishing trip, the sea is an 8x8 grid, forming 64 fishing locations. We start at the dock, square 1-1, and try to catch as many pounds of fish as we can. We move one square at a time, horizontally or vertically. Entering F allows you to fish in the same place again. Entering B resets the game. If you leave the grid, you sink, you die. We must return to the dock in 60 moves, which is equivalent to 6 hours. If we don't return in time, half the catch will spoil. The chance of catching fish is different for each square and is determined at the start of the trip. The chance of catching fish in a square will remain the same, but will decrease if the fish are scared by a shark. The maximum number of fish that can be caught in each square, which is density, is determined at the beginning of the simulation, and that will decrease. The maximum number of fish you can catch is the product of the row and column, so the further out you go, the more fish you catch. The longer you fish, the greater the chance of hitting an afternoon storm. If you hit one of those, you lose half an hour. There's also a chance of random events. And nice little book, picture of a fishing man, and it comes with a little map. Let's have a look.
Fishing trip. You start out at the dock. You have to enter your moves, north, south, east, west, fish or B, which is reset. So we've gone south, we've caught 4 fish, each weighing a pound, so we're going to keep fishing. There's no bites. Note, we've currently fished for 0.4 hours. We've caught 4 pounds so far. We've caught a fish. The idea is you wander around looking for fish, catching fish. You've got to be back at the dock by 6 hours, otherwise your fish goes off and you have to sell them to those Scandinavians who like, is it Lutgefish or something? There are random events which don't happen very often, which could be good. You might catch a shark. Sharks weigh 50 pounds, or might be a storm, or seagulls, or something. But it's not a bad little simulation. And the book is quite good. It gives you options for making it better, making it different. Let's see what we've got. What it suggests. Gone fishing. So the book gives you minor and major modifications. So minor could be increase the grid size, change the maximum probability of catching fish, the maximum density, the time of fishing, the storm probability, and how you change the rating. Major changes is catching different kinds of fish, including mermaids, catching the biggest single fish, having to use fuel to run the boat, adding a choice of different hooks and fishing depth to make it a bit more challenging rather than just wandering around the grid, different kinds of hazards such as whales, reefs or UFOs, fishing success dependent on the time of day. We're now at 5 hours, so we're getting close to the end. So rushing back to port now. So it's not too bad. We're nearly at port, half an hour away from port. And we've had a storm. That's not good. So That wasn't too bad. You can fix weather conditions and fishing conditions at the start of the trip, utilise sonar, or can move diagonally. So here, let's have a quick look around. Fish again some more. So a lot of the time there's no bites, there's no colour. It was a book, it predates the Sinclair ZX80, so there's no colour, there's no sound. There are basic graphics of some of the games in the book, but this isn't too bad though. It comes with a little chart where it encourages you to make a map of where you've fished. But at least it tells you where you are. If you leave the grid, you crash and sink. So I've currently got £54 of fish, that's a lot better. Plenty of time left as well. Last time I only caught £17. Obviously practice makes perfect. So that's a basic game, it's pretty good. It's certainly quick. So we're now just wandering around looking for more fish on the way back to the dock. Hopefully we won't hit another storm, because storms often cost you half an hour, which can be... Oh, we've had a storm. Fortunately, we're so close to the dock that we're done. And just to show you... Nah. I think we're done. Oh, look, one more fish. Let's show the... Oh, yeah, there you are. That's you grounded and sunk. But I rather enjoyed that. It was simple but fun, and there's opportunity for growth.
Our final game for today is from Tim Hartnell's giant book of Spectrum games. Lots of nice stuff in here. I saw this one in here and thought, oh, that might be fun. Just add it all in. It's called Squash the Squid. It's on page 28. It's only a couple of lines of code. A couple of pages, not lines. Written by R. Stubbs. In this programme, it was strongly opposed by the Society for the Protection of Squids. We have a strange mobile bomb which moves across the screen. Underneath it is the squid, which looks a bit like a space invader. When the bomb's right over the squid, we press a key, the bomb falls, and the squid waits for the bomb. If you hit him, he waves his arm around. We have a limited number of bombs. Each shot is worth 5,631 points. It was written by R. Stubbs, and the graphics were done by Daniel Hayward. So, let's go and squash the squid.
Squash the Squid, 25 bombs. It's a game of reflexes, and that's a hit. Nice bit of music. If you let the bomb go to the end of the screen, it drops anyway, so might as well try and drop. At which point you get a score of 5,000. Excuse me, 5,000. 5,631. I don't know why they chose that score, but it's quite impressive. A nice simple animation when you do hit the squid. The arms and the feet move and the eye changes. Rather jolly. Plenty of colour, a little bit of sound, and it's rather fast. Wouldn't play it all day, but I'm getting good at this. But that's what I enjoyed that. That was good. Thank you for watching. I enjoyed Pearl Diver. There were some nice choices in there. Combat could be more interesting, and the instant death chance of escape from combat was much too high. 50% is silly. I didn't find the secret treasure chest there, which gives you a 1/3 chance of instant death, 2/3 chance of victory. And also the game isn't randomly generated, so it's the same every time. But I enjoyed it. Save the Whale, nice simple game, plenty of graphics, bit of fun. Fishing Trip, a lot of interesting stuff in there and lots of room for expansion. It's a very early game from 1977, but you can see how it was useful to learn basic and make your own games better. And of course, Squash the Squid, a little bit of action, a little bit of fun, What's wrong with that? Anyway, thank you for watching and hope to see you again next time.